I think what really struck me was the clarity of role that he knew he had.
Yeah.
He had one job to do, was to block Pope, be an obstruction to him.
Say, well, I've got the new contract. I'm going to calm it down. Nope. Saliba is absolutely still on it. Quite a senior developer, like quite publicly in the room, was a bit grumpy and said something like, "Well, why are you saying thank you? I'm not doing it for you." I guess I learned from that. Hello and welcome to Team Goals for episode 3. This week, we are going to be talking about the last minute winner scored by Gabriel for Arsenal against Newcastle in what could just be a pivotal moment for the season. Today, I am joined again by co-host Andy Aidoo. Great to have you back, Andy.
Pleasure.
And Peter Lockhart. So, Pete, you are a project manager in the construction industry. And one thing I'm really passionate about is getting people on from different industries and talking about different ways that people organize themselves and work and different structures and things like that. So, Pete, welcome to Team Goals.
Thank you.
And just give us, some key stats. Help us get our head around what's it like to be a project manager on one of your sites.
Yeah, great. It's a lot of fun to start with. It is an industry that I'd highly recommend. It's a great industry. What I love about being in construction, I've been in the industry for nearly 20 years now, is having something that you can see at the end of your job, your project. You've got something material that you can always look at and be like, oh, I did that. And also you're working in communities that you can kind of give something back to that community. So the company I work for, we tend to build hospitals and schools, and it's a great project to be part of, to know that, it's going to enrich local communities. It's a lot of fun. It's hard work. We always, within the projects that we win and try and deliver, it's often a tight time scale, tight budgets at times, lots of challenges. I've got an apprentice who's with me at the moment who joined a couple of weeks ago, and he was just saying how much he's learning every day. And I say to him, I'm still learning every day now. It's always a learning curve. So that's what I love about it. You never get bored.
Amazing. Yeah, I've just been reminded. You told me once about, I think every day you end a day with a diary entry, a log of just like what happened on site. And I just remember that, and some more complicated like programs, really intense deliveries that I've been in, that has been such a useful thing to do. So it bodes well. I feel like we're going to learn some good stuff in this conversation. Pete, during COVID, you got called upon to set up one of the Nightingale hospitals, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did. We delivered a Nightingale hospital. A lot of work went into that. A lot of people were involved. Thankfully, it never got used, but it was there, and the response time was incredible. We both did the one for COVID, and also I was personally involved with another one, which was a hospital for the Omicron variant as well. So we were having to respond really quickly to the task and go above and beyond, 24-hour working to get a big warehouse up into a working hospital within a 7-day period. So yeah, it was very impressive.
Incredible. Okay. And then just one last thing, when you're on a site, say you're building a hospital or a school, like just give us a gauge on numbers. Like what sort of price would that overall project be? How many people might you be working with day to day across that whole site? How many people might be on a site at any given time?
Yeah. So we tend to, the part of the business that I work for tends to deliver projects between 10 to 30 million pound projects. And they tend to be anywhere between 12 to 24 months. Our team consists of about 8 to 10 people, and that's split with commercial, operational, and administrative guys as well. So it's it's not a huge team to oversee the management of our projects, but yeah, in terms of site, we have a number of contractors who work for us, usually between about sort of 20 to 30 contractors throughout the project. And we'll have a very tight supply chain. So you work regularly with the same sort of contractors, so you get a good relationship with them, and you build up good rapports, good teamwork, good levels of trust. So yeah, and then the number of staff you then have on site is can be up to about 100, at the peak.
Wow. Yeah. That feels stressful for me already.
Mm.
That's a lot of
Can be.
people in a small space with
Mm.
big heavy machinery. Uh, great. Well, so Pete, and you're also an Arsenal fan.
I am.
So let's get into our moment for the weekend. Okay.
Right.
Right. So Andy, set the scene for us. What happened this weekend to make this such a big game for Arsenal?
So thank you very much for handing this to the Liverpool fan who took a beating. Cheers. Do appreciate that.
Pleasure.
So it was a massive game due to the fact that going into this, Liverpool were already 5 points clear. So everyone was talking about this league is wrapped up. The money, the talent, what's on the pitch. This means this should be Liverpool stretching the lead even further before even Arsenal get into this. We then find out through the power of maybe karma or reputation that Crystal Palace are not having any of it. They've done so before. They're going to do it again. And they stepped up and the better team won. We were flat. We were not great at all. They knew about the whole last minute goal and they just outdid that even further. So Crystal Palace absolutely, with resilience, with organisation, with planning, took it to us, got the deserved win, 2-1. Now the story changes. Arsenal playing the day after have a chance to cut the lead and have a chance to respond to what's being said about them. And that's exactly what happened. The odds for Arsenal winning the Premiership have changed dramatically. This win is so defining and it's such a big win. It has been shown, but has been reacted to, reflected, the moments we're going to talk about. And this, I think, is a lot of pressure. And they say big teams react to big pressure. So I think what we're going to talk about today has got massive implications and it really shows how you come out, you respond, you carry yourself and you move forward. And that's a level of resilience, leadership and structure that I think takes you through everything, life, business, football, everything.
Yeah. I know. I was just thinking how Liverpool versus Crystal Palace, Liverpool in the week, they've had several of their players at the Ballon d'Or ceremony hearing about how great they are, right? And Crystal Palace, they didn't go to the Ballon d'Or ceremony. The values of players based on transfer fees. Palace have lost their talisman from last season in Eze, and they've come out with the same approach, the same belief. Doesn't matter who it is. If it's Liverpool, they're going for the win, and absolutely full credit to them. Even in the very last minute of the game, they're still sticking to that, and they're not settling for a point. They're going for the 3 points, and love to see it. So we've had one last minute corner. No, it was a long throw, wasn't it? But one last minute ball into the box, leading to a winner. So now let's head over to St James's Park, and let's go through this key moment. So we have got Arsenal have managed to get the score back to 1-1 after going 1-0 down away at Newcastle. We've got an absolutely crowded penalty area. We've got 20 players in or around the box here. There's only one player who's not in there. That's from Newcastle on the outskirts. So jam-packed. Odegaard's over the ball. He gets the ball on its way in. Now, what's happening here is everybody is moving in, trying to get on the end of the ball in this ram-packed 6-yard box. And Saliba is just focused completely on the goalkeeper, Nick Pope. He's not looking at the ball at all. He's got his back to the play, and he is just planted himself and refusing to let Pope get anywhere near that ball that's coming into to the front post, which leaves Pope just aimlessly, hopelessly reaching out an arm, but not able to get anywhere near our man, Gabby, who gets up above everybody, plants his forehead on it, and has the easiest finish of all time and buries it into the back of the net. So this is a huge moment, and it's going to make headlines, sends the fans into delirium. You know, Gabby, the saviour. But let's first of all focus on Saliba. Pete, what did you notice about Saliba during that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was game face on. He knew. I think what really struck me was the clarity of role that he knew he had. He had one job to do, was to block Pope, be an obstruction to him, and someone else was going to get that winning header, whether it was Gabriel, Timber, whoever it might have been. His role was to interfere with Pope's efforts to try and get a hold on that ball. So. Yeah, Saliba, a man mountain of a guy, stepped up, knew what he had to do, and he delivered it well.
Yeah, and it's a good point. Man mountain of a guy, like surely he could guys up and get on the end of a cross.
True.
So Saliba's just signed a 5-year contract, having been heavily linked with Real Madrid over the last couple of years. You know, Real Madrid being seems like the one side that everybody decides to compromise on their club loyalties and go and sign for.
Ow! the
hurt. So Andy, when you're in your role as head of QA, you know you're leading a team, and you've got some work that needs to be done, which isn't necessarily the glamour work.
Yeah.
What's a good way that you can give that person that role?
So I think it's very worth saying that, especially the industries we work in, but from my point from QA, it's sort of role you get a lot of unsung heroes. And I say that because when things go wrong, QA is, you know it's gone wrong, it's QA. It's like a goalkeeper, you know it's gone horrifically wrong, there's a goal. And a QA is the same principle. But when things go right, it's kind of quiet. It's like, oh, it went right, so we keep on moving. And I think Saliba, as pointed out, it's when you tie that to industry, you have to have the recognition and the appreciation of those around you. And when you have that, I think it really helps form a bond and a tie that takes things forward. So in answer to your question, working with numerous teams I have done and grown teams, they want to feel recognized. They want to feel like they've been seen to do the job, but do more than just the job. And I think that is a really big thing, because some industries, they're more vocal. You will talk, or you'll be more of the face. So therefore your face will be seen. But QA can be more, I guess, introverted as a way of doing things. You get about doing it. You are doing it. So then when I come to them, or anyone feedback comes to them and gives them feedback, that appreciation is really taken really to heart, because they just like knowing they've been recognized, appreciated, and someone's advocating for them. They feel like, oh, you're going to help push me forward to gain my career, because not everybody has that in them to go, look at me, I did this, I'm amazing. You know, and that's the thing. Look at many QA CVs. The achievement list is it's hard to do, because they're not really programmed. I'm not programmed to do, oh, I did this, I got this many bugs. I'm not really programmed to do it. So being recognized and seeing it in your feedback, seeing it in a one-to-one, just having, actually, that was great. I mean, you caught that. Having it called out. I've done review agents as well, calling out, look, this person found this issue. Having that recognition is ground level, and then you build it up accordingly. To tie us back to Saliba again, getting a 5-year contract, you got that, not because Real Madrid was sniffing around, because you're really good and you're really vital. And he was recognized. And you could say, well, I've got the new contract, I'm going to calm it down. Nope. Saliba is absolutely stood on it. And that is the biggest thing about it. So especially for what I do, working with teams, it is very much giving that level of appreciation, that recognition, advocating, taking them forward, pushing them up to say, you can do more. You've gained the trust. You've been shown to do such an amazing role. Do more. Strive for more. And that push forward
Yeah.
allows people to flourish and do absolutely bigger and bigger things.
Yeah. I think in theory, as a project manager, I know the one of the most powerful and effective things I can do is just to constantly be affirming to everybody
Mm.
why they are indispensable to the team, why their role matters. And even though they might be feeling a bit tired just by the slog of the project, or maybe they are feeling like they're not getting all of the best parts of the project, not getting the bits of work that they feel are going to advance their career. But I
Yeah.
think one of the things that can be really hard in a project environment is the pace. And you just don't necessarily often get the time to send that note or that email, or to have that conversation, or maybe in a public setting call somebody out and just really recognize. So what are some practical things that we can do to ensure that feedback happens and recognition and praise happens, Pete?
Yeah, I think for me, it's trying to make it a habit. And so whether you have a team, so we try and have a team meeting at least once a week, if not every morning. We'll get together, have a cup of tea when we arrive on site at 7 o'clock to 7:30, have a cup of tea together, go through the day, and it's just again, just like you said, Aidan, just ex- clarifying what everyone's job roles are for that day, what the activities are going to be, and saying thank you. This guy on site keeps having a go at me for saying thank you too often, but I kind of have a joke with him now, because like you say, it's really important. I'd rather be told off for saying thank you too many times than not saying it
Yeah.
at all. And it's wanting him to know that what he's doing, although can be seen as um quite small tasks at times, I'm really grateful for those things that he's doing. And everyone has a role. I think in our um making sure everyone also knows that they've got a voice as well, so that they're heard. And you mentioned about that earlier. If everyone feels as though their voice is heard, everyone feels valued, because everyone feels as though they've got something to input into the team and the dynamics and what's going on. And I think if there's an environment where the person who's leading the team is kind of, it's my way or the highway, then everybody else kind of can get quite disillusioned. So it's creating a culture of listening, yeah, giving people voices, giving them opportunities to speak up, and in those team meetings, just sort of, being really appreciative and showing, giving them attention, being good at listening, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one thing that is really common in the software development world, talking about agile principles, is having a regular rhythm of doing a retrospective.
Mm.
And one thing that happened quite early on when I was like learning how to facilitate retrospectives, doing my first few, someone who was quite a senior developer, like quite publicly in the room, was a bit grumpy and said something like, "Well, why are you saying thank you? I'm not doing it for you." And that's a really interesting thing to say. And I think sometimes as a project manager, you can kind of feel a little bit like that. You don't want it to feel like everyone's like working for you, because it is a collective thing. And maybe that's just a, like, I don't know, a semantics thing around thank yous and appreciation. But I think just one thing I want, like I guess I learned from that is almost more just saying, hey, it was really fantastic that you managed to do this by this time, and look at the knock-on effect of that. It meant this person was able to get an early start on that, and because even though we were behind here, because it went through with no bugs, we've still been able to deliver on time. Just almost more within the story. So it's showing how everyone has been impacted in a positive way by someone's contribution.
Yeah, it's good.
Definitely. I think you could have said
Cool. So
as well.
let's go on, Andy. Sorry.
So there, but you saying you thank you because you're showing you are thankful for something. So
If not, just relieved. As a project manager, when things happen, I'm just relieved.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, that's fair. Okay, can't get that then. But yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then let's get to the moment itself then. So Saliba's done an amazing job of just keeping the goalie back. And then Gabby has risen up amongst 9, 10 other players, all trying to get on the end of the ball. And he's managed to get into the position where he can just nod it home into the empty net. So, you know, from a headlines point of view, the tweet version, you know, Gabby's the hero here. But there's more to Gabby's story in this. So Pete, just give us a bit of a background on what's led up to this moment in Gabby's game.
Yeah, so he's had an interesting game, that's for sure. Some flashpoints when Newcastle scored their first goal. There was certainly an incident in the box as the ball came in where it appeared that Gabby came crashing down to the floor without much of a touch at all. I think Farr said it was, what was the term, Andy? I can't remember. It was minimal contact, I think. And it looked very strange. I mean, Gabby is again similar to Saliba, a man mountain of a character. So I was really surprised. I kind of thought he likes the duels. He's great at duels, and Arteta's a man who loves his duels. And I've never seen him sort of back out of a challenge. So it really surprised me when he came crashing to the floor, giving Newcastle an easy header into the goal and take the lead. And then there was another flashpoint afterwards where he raised his arm to a Newcastle player. The emotions got the better of him. He obviously made a mistake that meant that Arsenal were losing in what was, you know, a critical game, with Liverpool having dropped points yesterday. Arsenal knew they had to win today. They had to get the 3 points. The draw wasn't going to be enough. So he probably felt he made a mistake. He failed. He didn't quite deliver on what he had to do, and the emotions were running high. So as we get to, you know, with Arsenal getting back into the game, scoring the equaliser, you know, they knew that they didn't have long to try and grab the winner, but the momentum was with them. And I think what was impressive and is impressive with the Arsenal team at the moment, everyone talks about their set pieces, that Arsenal can only score with set pieces, and that is true. But at the same time, you have to focus on the things sometimes you're good at, and not always having to rely on something that, you know, Arsenal rarely score 30-yard screamers, but we do score regularly headers in the box. So the belief, I think, when you go into every set piece now, there is a belief amongst the teams. There's even fear amongst their opponents, and there's an expectation in the crowd, whether that's Arsenal fans getting excited, getting pumped up for it, or the opponent's fans feeling a little bit nervous. That must feed in to the players on the pitch. And he just towers above them all. Like you said earlier, Aidan, there was only one person who seemed to have leapt up into that moment, got his head on the ball, and managed to grab the winning goal, which was crucial.
Yeah. So incredible that despite all that had gone before, you know, it's the 98th minute. You've got to have physical exhaustion in the mix as well. It's been a contest. It's been a battle the whole way through. And he could have been, like, his head could have gone. And you see that sometimes, you know, a manager has to make the decision. You know, that was a reckless challenge. He maybe got away with one there. Going to give him a couple of minutes, see if he's calmed down, and if not, gonna make a change. But obviously, Arteta's belief in Gabby shows there. He's still on the pitch. So Andy, when it's high pressure, you know, you can't really get much more high pressure than this. But it might be you're right up against the deadline. Something's happened, you know, maybe somebody has made a high profile mistake, and you know it's affecting them personally. What's something you can do as a manager to help somebody in that situation?
If you can take them out of the firing line to any position, you can do. So sometimes on a project, okay, you're working on this particular feature. Okay, fine. We can step across to something else. Just allow them to have the reframe, to reset, to come out of that moment, because a mistake is a moment. It's not your forever. It's not who you are. It's just a moment. A moment's come, a moment's go. You can get them out of that moment to, I guess, not calm down, but just to reassess, realign, and refocus on something else, you can move forward. It's easy, but on a football pitch, that could be different. I guess maybe what happened, I think he ended up picking someone else up. I think that could have been what happened. Just to get around that, him and Voltemade, the Newcastle player, were having it back and forth. So if you just change, okay, I'll mark this, you mark that. And that way it just takes you out of that moment. And I think that's something that can be done, and it is done, what I do with my teams. Come out of that moment, it's being recognized, we know what to do. We can come back to it, we can fix it. It's correct. You can recode it, you can rectify it, you can retest it. It's fine, but in the moment, step away from that. But you're only going to raise levels and tensions, be more alert to a mistake, maybe just second guess yourself. And these little steps cause more issues to come about. Just step back, take a moment, chat about it, move something else, just move people around. And then it can happen. And you'll find when you make a mistake, you actually do come back looking for it, stronger for it because of it. Like, I remember this, I can fix this, I can come back and do better because of this. And you can drive yourself. And I think that happened to Gabriel. He absolutely knew the energy he brought reacted, hence the Voltemade box him in the face incident. But you know what? I'm a senior player. I know who I am. I'm assured of my position in this team. The boss hasn't hooked me off. I mean, he believes in me. I know what I'm about. I can do this. We are doing this. And that came back into it. So he could have gone off from the forearm to the face, but temperature came back down again, got back onto his job. And then the process took over. I say that because I'm a set piece. I know what I'm doing. You know what you're doing. We know what we're all doing. Back into the process. Let's go about and doing this. So we had that to come back into. And I think that works a lot of our industries. If it happens, you have a process, a way of doing things, a recognized way of doing things. And that means you can come back in from a situation and proceed forward. And that's what I do with my teams as well. Get them out the firing line. Don't let them stew on a mistake. Come back round. We move forward.
Yeah, some really good stuff in there. I think I like the idea of just like the small tweak rather than the dramatic reaction. You know, just okay. You mark him. I'm going to mark this person.
Exactly.
But you're still on the pitch. You're still in the game.
Exactly.
And then really interesting thought about the process taking over, because rightly Arsenal are famous for these corners, and they've got a specific coach, one of the few teams that's really invested in that. And you just know that the only reason why they're able to execute not just this particular tactic, but numerous others, different, they can communicate and they know what the play is going to be for that set piece. It's got to come from being drilled over and over and over and over again. Well, thank you both for joining for this episode of Team Goals. Pete, I'm sure you're riding a high this weekend, believing that the Gunners are rising up. Andy, just dealing with the disappointment. I seem to remember Man City had quite a good start to last season and were seen as the giants who could never be toppled. I'm just putting that out there. People can make their own connections, draw their own conclusions.
We're going to skip your team. We're skipping your team. We're going to skip your team, just to be clear about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not even a talking point anymore. No one's shocked.
Fair enough.
When Man United lose to Brentford, and
it's gone from banter just we feel sorry for you. It's just that kind. It's just so none of us want to be in that situation.
Yeah. So my coping method is to not talk about it, but anyway. Well, thank you for joining both, and it's been super interesting. And I think for me, the one thought I'm going to take away from here is just that image of Saliba, just not looking at the ball, just taking care of business. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't in the spotlight, but it was it was his role, and he was going to do it. And when he did that, he made a way for his teammate to succeed. And I think that's a great attitude that we can all have in whatever role we're in. Let's lay a foundation so that everybody wins.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Loved hanging with you guys. Have a great week ahead, and we will see you next time for Team Goals.